Next is Middle East. And on this matter, Lindsey Graham again does makes headlines. So Graham talked Trump into bombing Iran, according to reports, by the way. And that's why I am saying, quite often I see this attitude towards Graham that, well, he's just a clown, crazy guy in the Senate that don't really influences anything. But unfortunately, based on actual evidences, one may argue that maybe Graham is a clown, but forces that are behind him are very serious and influential, right? And those forces influenced Trump potentially, because not necessarily Graham himself, he just represents these forces, right? The neocons, Israeli lobby, and so on. So let's go through this news for little detail. Unhinged warmonger, Senator Lindsey Graham, ever eager for a new war, wormed his way back into Trump's inner circle and convinced him to greenlight risky strikes on Iran. Wall Street Journal reported, by the way, despite their on-again, off-again bromance, including Graham's outrage after January 6, Trump apparently listened to the hawkish senator, ditching his America First focus yet again. So I don't know, can we trust Wall Street Journal on this report or not? But Graham himself said that, well, he was golfing just like day before yesterday with Trump, and Trump told him that he wants this anti-Russian bill to go ahead there to be passed in a Senate. So therefore, maybe this report is correct. I mean, if Graham and Trump are like best buddies now, then who knows? Who knows? Yet again, either Graham or most likely forces that are behind him probably do have a significant influence over Trump. Maybe so much so that they actually encourage him to authorize this absolutely illegal, unconstitutional strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. Who knows, by the way? But this type of people are extremely dangerous, and forces that are behind them. I mean, Graham, I'm talking about. So one may think he is a clown, but unfortunately, those clowns actually are able to influence their developments. Also, to continue, dear friends, we have this reporter from Western media, which continues to intentionally insult Washington, intentionally insult Pentagon, U.S. militaries, to basically encourage and even somewhat force White House to take additional action against Iran, while criticizing Washington not for legality of the action that was taken against Iran, but for ineffectiveness of the strike. So Washington Post, citing sources, is stating that U.S. Intercepted their communications from Iranian officials about the results of strikes on the country's nuclear facilities. In them, officials noted that the strikes were less destructive than Trump claimed. So you see, dear friends, this process is not stopping. And influential forces in the West, including media that they control on daily basis, literally on daily basis, pushes this narrative that, mission is not accomplished and something has to be done about it, right? They are encouraging and forcing White House to take action. That's what is happening. And that's why I said on the very first day when this ceasefire broke between Israel and Iran that this is just a pause. This is just a pause. There are very influential forces in this world, globalists, neocons, Zionists, that want war to continue, maybe for different reasons, but they want war to continue. Israel wants destruction of Iran, regime change. Neocons want, as always, war, because they are getting richer and more influential with these wars, and globalists want regional war in the Middle East to shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait, so that they will try to harm China this way as much as possible. And that is just a part of the plan that they actually have, bigger plan, right? And unfortunately, it seems like my reading of the big picture is more or less correct, because on daily basis we are seeing development of this story, which is clearly intended to prepare ground for additional escalation in the Middle East. Correct me if I'm wrong, dear friends. Correct me if my reading of the big picture is mistaken, but that's what I can tell about this stuff. Every single day, these big names in the Western media are coming up with new and new stories to humiliate Washington, humiliate Pentagon, how ineffective their strikes were, and how much enriched uranium Iran has left, how fast they will build a bomb, and this and that. While media, if they are true journalists, should question legality, first of all, of their action, because it was absolutely illegal, by the way, based on US Constitution and based on international norms. But did you hear this argument in the Western media? No, they are ignoring this, right? All they talk is about how ineffective the strikes were. I mean, crazy, isn't it? On topic of Iran, recent escalation and Iran's nuclear program, we have this report that Iran's UN envoy stated that Tehran won't stop enriching uranium. So that Tehran will never give up enriching uranium for a peaceful nuclear program, said Iran's permanent representative to the UN, Amir Saeed Iravani. We have quotes here. I think enrichment will never stop, he told their CBS when asked by a reporter whether Iran was planning to resume enriching uranium. Iravani recalled that in accordance with the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, Tehran has the right to produce enriched uranium and use it for peaceful purposes. Maintaining our peaceful nuclear activities is our right, and we want to implement it. Their diplomat added. So, well, Iran's position is clear now and was clear always. They are not building atomic bombs. They have no military nuclear program, but they have every right to develop civilian nuclear program, and they're going to continue to do so, including with the enrichment program, right? And I see arguments, by the way, including in alternative media, that why would Iran enrich uranium up to 60% if they don't want to build the atomic bomb? Well, I think they enrich uranium up to 60% to have a stronger negotiating position. And I think Iran wants to have a latent nuclear deterrent in its hand, which means that they will be in a position to build, as they already are, in a position to build nuclear weapons, but they are refusing to do so. And that is a latent nuclear deterrent, right? And this latent nuclear deterrent is not something unique for Iran, for example. There are many countries in this world, quite a few countries, let's say, that are in such position, including Japan, by the way. Right? Japan and Germany, countries that were endangering all of humanity during the Second World War. They are in a position of latent nuclear deterrence. So why should not Iran be in that position? Why? What is the issue there? I see no issue, right? They have no nuclear program, and I don't think Iran is going to build one. So it is what it is. To continue, well, I report about this yesterday during their community chatter, but I think it's worth notice again that US-Iran nuclear talks might take place in the coming days. Witkoff, special envoy of US President Witkoff, will offer the Iranian side to abandon uranium enrichment in exchange for easing sanctions against Tehran. CBS or NBC TV channel reports, and well, Iran's answer we already know. They will continue to enrich uranium. And at this point, by the way, when Iran is under Western sanctions for decades and decades, well, I think they don't really care that much about these Western sanctions, right? As Russia don't cares. I mean, we can live with that, right? So therefore, if Washington is serious, and this is a big question, I mean, how can anyone trust Washington when they are using diplomacy and negotiations as a deception, which was proven quite a number of times? I mean, how you can trust them, I don't know. But even theoretically speaking, if Washington is serious about talks with Iran and the escalation, Iran has a very clear position. And if Washington thinks that, well, we will lift some sanctions and Tehran will refuse to continue its nuclear program or enrichment program, then they are wrong. They are wrong. Iran is used to deal with sanctions, and they're developing, I will say, quite successfully, overcoming these obstacles that are generated illegally by the West quite successfully. Iran is now a full member of the BRICS. There is huge opportunities ahead. So why would Iran compromise with US or the collective West in general? I mean, what is the point there for Iran? Nothing, right? So therefore, I think this is deception again and again. US will push this narrative that, well, you have to refuse, you have to shut down your enrichment program, otherwise we will take care of this again. We will attack you or something like that. They will try to intimidate Iran, but it just would not work. It just would not work. And once again, main question when it comes to US and the collective West countries in general is trust. I mean, I cannot imagine how anybody can trust representatives of Western countries, being US, UK, France, Germany, or any other, by the way. I mean, there are so many evidences that they are using negotiations and their diplomacy as a deception. They are not serious in negotiations, right? They don't want to achieve anything with negotiations. They just want to gain time and full opposite side. That's all, right? So therefore, I don't know, based on what NBC is reporting, that nuclear talks might resume in coming days, but is there any point for Iran really, or for anybody, to talk to these people that represent collective West countries? No, there is no point to talk to them, really. You just and everybody that talks to their Western elites is, I guess, just pretending to be serious about these talks also, because they know Western leaders cannot be trusted. Everyone knows this, right? Everyone. And on the topic of Iran's enrichment program, already many media outlets are reporting, dear friends, that in many nuclear facilities, construction work has begun, cleaning operation began, construction work has begun, and in months or 2 months' time, probably Iran will resume with their full capacity. It's maybe not full capacity, but with significant capacity. It's nuclear programs, including enrichment program. I remind you, dear friends, that Russia continues to build Bushehr nuclear power plant, and in 2026, one more reactor will go into service, and in 2027, another one. right? So Iran is working on nuclear program, continues to work, and maybe they've been delayed for a month or two, but that's about it. Unfortunately, there is a high risk. There is a high risk that West will escalate again, and Israel is, of course, part of collective West because they want to generate regional war there. But at least for now, seems like we have some this truce between Iran and Israel. Iran and US is holding, and that is good. How long it will last, hard to tell, but you know. Haaretz, by the way, one of the most influential, as far as I can tell, media outlet in Israel, meanwhile, is reporting that strategically the war in with Iran was a mistake. Quite an acknowledgement, isn't it? It was a crime, first of all, and then Haaretz may argue that it was a mistake. And there are a few points from Haaretz's article. Israel's Haaretz, in their publication, called the attack on Iran strategic mistake, since it led to consolidation of their Iranian society. After 12 days of war, the Iranians are consumed with their rage. If Israel had limited itself to striking nuclear facilities and not striking residential buildings and killing civilians, the intensity of hatred towards Israel, which has now reached their boiling point, would not have been on such a high level. When we tell the Iranians we want to get rid of your ballistic missiles, this means we want you to be so weak that we can bomb you whenever we want. But for the Iranians, this is unacceptable. Haaretz is pointing out also Israel fantasized about regime change in Iran, but most Iranians don't believe in it. When people are bombed, their nationalism increases. Now, even those who were against the regime write on social media, we will fight any aggression against our country. Which is also interesting observation from Israeli media. And also one point, now they have all united around Iran. The war with Iran was a strategic mistake, according to Haaretz, and it was not just a strategic mistake. First of all, it was a crime, and it was a humiliating defeat of Israel. It was humiliating defeat for Israel. And everyone, by the way, who pays any attention to details understands that it was Israel that trying through US and its allies to end the hostility because they were on the edge of exhaustion. Their air defense systems were on edge of losing battle capability because of the low stockpile, right? And in many cases, because Israeli air defense systems were operational for so long, right? Not just these 12 days, but also there was and still continuous conflict with Palestine, right? And also there was a conflict with Lebanon. And these air defense systems of Israel were constantly in operation, right? And that's why, and they are exhausted systems themselves. And that's why during this 12-day war, we say at least several documented videos when air defense missiles launched by Israeli ADs were actually targeting not their aerial targets, but failing on the ground. And there was one occasion when missile failed to actually AD battery of Israel, right? So Netanyahu's regime was not in a position to further continue this assault. Nothing to be said about the exhaustion of Israeli pilots, right? That were conducting these sorties almost in non-stop regime. So they needed a break. They need to restore their stockpiles now, which will take quite some time. And after that, in a few weeks from now, or maybe a few months from now, I think one should expect further escalation in the Middle East, big time. So at least what on this at this point where we are right now, I will argue that her attack on Iran was a humiliating defeat for Israel. What will happen tomorrow, day after, we don't know. But at this stage, that's how it is.
Hello everyone, I hope you find informative and useful this short clip from main news update, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. It might help to deal with the algorithm and reach wider audience. And if you like my work in general and want to support to save this media project, you can assist through several ways. You can donate to this project through PayPal platform or Boosty, also with the crypto currencies, or you can subscribe to my Patreon page and page on Boosty, where I have quite a lot of extra content on regular basis. All the links are on this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And of course, many thanks to everyone who already helped and continues to support. Thank you.